Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Hellbent, and today I'm going to release a new little script that I made. It just makes selecting the functions within the Gdip library a little bit easier, and it does a few little things I'll go over quickly. So there's going to be a link in the description to a paste bin page that has this script on it. The first thing that you're going to want to do before you run it is, if you have a copy of Gdip somewhere on your computer, what you're going to want to do is go to that folder and get the full path, because one of the things that this script does is it makes it so that way once you set up the path to that folder or that file, that Gdip file, one of the things that this script does is allows you to clone that or make copies of it, so that way if I have a copy of it in one particular folder and then I'm working in a new folder and I want to put a new copy of the Gdip library in that folder, I can just press a button, it'll make a copy of that script, and then I can just paste it into the new folder, which I'll show a demonstration of in a minute. But it needs the full path. Put the full path to that particular Gdip library in there. This particular script, it also has included in it a full copy of the Gdip library. So another thing that you can do is you can press another button and it'll copy the full Gdip library into your clipboard, and then you can dump that into the script that you're working on, or you can dump it into a new script and make that one. Also, because this has the full Gdip library in it, if you have this particular program in a particular folder or whatever, what you can do instead of including Gdip is you can include this script, which is not the ideal way to do it, but I mean you could. So let me show you what this does. So I already have another script that's already fully set up. This is really kind of meant to be if you have a tool similar to this where you can launch things quickly, because you wouldn't want to have to go and dig this up every time you want to use it. So if you have some method of launching your scripts or other programs quickly, such as this one here, this is available on my channel, by the way, for free. It'll be in the scripts section of my homepage, and I also recently did a tutorial on how to create something similar, the basic concept of having something that you can launch things quickly, program it to launch different windows or web pages, whatever, quickly. So this is the tool here, and it has a list of every single function in the library as I have it. So there's like 100 different functions. Okay, it doesn't look like 100, but there's a lot of different functions, and I can select that, and then I have a few options. So let me pull up a notepad. So let's say if I want to do this function here, gdip get dc, what I can do is, if I want to use this function inside of the script I'm currently working on, I can just click on select this, hit clip the prototype, and it's going to put into my clipboard the prototype of this function call. And then I can just paste that in, and now I can use it. I can edit this out however I want. So maybe I want to use Gdip draw image points rectangle, so I can clip that, put that into my script, and now when I use it, it'll call to my the library, the Gdip library. What it can also do is, if I right click anywhere in this area here, anywhere in here basically, it'll expand it out and give me a few more options. So now I have the full function available to me, so I can see what it's doing. So let's say if I want to do Gdip blur bitmap, I can see any notes that it has on it, and also have full access to the full function. What I can do now is I can just copy and paste, copy this part here, and I can leave out that. But what I can also do is, if I have it shrunk down or whatever, so let's say if I want this one here, I can just hit clip function, and now I can paste that full function into my script. What you can also do with the expanded is, I've included, besides just having the list box here, I've also included a combo box. And in the combo box, I did it this way because it's a lazy programming way, but with the combo box, so let's say if I was looking for maybe Gdip, I know maybe part of the name Gdip start, is it start? Gdip startup. So I can just start typing out the string and it'll get me the closest match that I can get to that, right? And now I can clip that prototype, dump it into my script, and I am good to go. And the two other things that it does is, like I said, you can copy the full path to the Gdip library. So let me this one I don't want to. Let me just open up here. I think this one. I just got to make sure. I'm currently working on a whole bunch of new functions for the Gdip library, so I don't want to accidentally override the one that I'm currently working on. Yeah, so this one's the one that I'm currently working on, so I don't want to override this one. I'll just pick another random folder. So I'm gonna go to open. Okay, so here I don't have a copy of the Gdip library, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unlock. I made it so that way you have to unlock these two buttons because there's lots and lots of text, or you might do something that you might not want to do. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to hit clip gdip file, and now it's going to copy into my clipboard a copy of the Gdip library, just like as if I had gone to that particular folder. So if it's a million folders away from me, it's just like as if I went to that folder and then went to copy, right? So I'm going to go. Let me shrink that down. I'm going to clip the Gdip file, and now in my clipboard it should have a copy of it. So if I just go to paste, it should paste a copy of gdip.ahk. Yeah, I don't need that. The last thing, like I said, it does is it can clip the full text to the Gdip library. So if I hit this, let me go ahead and lock that back up. And I'll create a new script, and if it worked properly, it should paste the full Gdip library. And now I can just save this as whatever. I can put this at the bottom of a script if I want to include in a script the full library or whatever, so it's all contained in one script rather than having multiples. I don't want to save. I'll go over quickly how to set it up, how to read over everything. So I did this. This is just meant to be a quick little project. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on doing unnecessary things, especially because as I use this, or as you use this, you might come up with things that you might think you can make improvements on it. So for example, there is no alphabet. I didn't make it so that way it's alphabetical. There's no order. These are just copied exactly as they were in the original Gdip library, one to one. So if you were to, let's say for example, if you did want to change the order of anything, because the way I have this script set up, it's using the index or the position of these to match up with the position of the actual function. So if I select the first item on my list here, it's going to show me the first item in this thing. So if I change the order of this, I would have to manually go through and change this. Or another thing I could do is perhaps look to see the first some of the lines in this or whatever. But either way, if you make alterations to it, you're going to have to account for the fact that it's set up so that way it's a one-to-one. So if I select the second item in my list, it's going to show me the second item in this list. If I select the fourth item, it's going to show me the fourth item, right? So if I do any changes with this, I would have to manually go in and make sure that everything lines up properly again. If, for example, you have functions that you've created, what you can do though is you can use that knowledge that it's set up to a one-to-one ratio, and I'll show you where you can set them up. So let's say if you have a new function that you've added to your library, I'll show you here at line 147, and it should be line 147 for you as well. It starts the full Gdip library as it's contained within here. So like I said, you can actually just include this file. So when you're using Gdip, you can have this in the same folder, and you can say include this particular script. So Gdip functions list tool, right? Because it has the full Gdip library written into it. After that is where it has it separated to have all the function prototypes and then all the functions, which is probably like line 2000 or something. Okay, past 2000. Okay, it's getting close. Okay, so this is the, I've marked it, so this is the end of the Gdip library, so everything above that was the Gdip library. Here is where you can go ahead and add in your function. So if I want to add a new function, if I want to add it at the end of my list or whatever, I can just go down to the last item here, drop down a line, and then I have it separated by these special characters. So I don't know, maybe your computer can't use these special characters or not, so you might have to, if the special characters aren't working for you, you can try different special characters to separate everything, because I need the special characters to sort through everything. So if I want to add a new function, I would just copy this special character, paste it in, and then write the name of the function prototype, and then at the very bottom to add a new the full function, just copy this line exactly as it is. So copy that full line, drop down and paste it in, and then add your function, and at the end of it you can add this to stop it. Alright, so put your function just like this. So that's how you can add as many functions as you want. And you can change the order, so if you want them to be the first functions in your list instead of the last, you can just reverse the order that I did. And that's it. That's how you use it. If you have any suggestions on things that it should include, maybe the next time I update it, if I ever update it, I can include those in. But that's it. Have a good day. Peace.